On this side of the garden, we're making a big change. After 4 years of using grow bags to grow several varieties of vegetables, it's time to let them go. Grow bags are really great because we've been able to move them around and we've had no issue growing vegetables in these. But in recent years, they have been getting destroyed by squirrels. They've done a lot of damage on several grow bags by chewing on the sides and creating big holes. They mainly use this for nesting, and we've been ignoring this for a while, but now it's time to make a big change. And we're going to be replacing them for a more permanent solution that will last us for many years. But we're not completely getting rid of all our grow bags, we're still going to be using the ones that aren't damaged. Because like I said, these are still very useful and we'll keep some as spare. So to get started, I need to clear up all the space first. Just to be safe to prevent any critters from digging under the bed and creating a nest, I'm installing half-inch hardware cloth. And if you have any issues with gophers, this will work as well. We really wanted to go with a permanent solution that will last us for years to come, so we decided to go with Vego Garden Modern Raised Beds. These are super easy to install, they are very strong, and we absolutely love the modern look. The metal raised bed that I'm installing is 17-inch tall, 27-inch deep, and 53-inch wide. And we went with 5 of these to fit the length of the trellis that we installed here. This side of the garden is actually on a slope, so I had to level it out before I can continue working. And once everything was leveled out, I installed a heavy-duty landscape fabric barrier. I then proceeded to install the hardware mesh cloth before adding the garden bed on top. This garden bed is a little bit longer and I plan to connect 2 of them together. The size is 17-inch tall, 27-inch deep, and 83-inch wide. Altogether, I installed 8 garden beds and they're looking really great in this space. And when it comes to filling new garden beds, I always start with materials that I can get from home. I started with a layer of cardboard and egg cartons, and these will just break down over time. They're also great at preventing weeds and grass from coming up, especially if you're planning to install your garden bed directly on top of the grass. For the next layer, I would have added rotted logs and twigs here. But since I didn't have them available, I did manage to find brown leaves and dried stems. And again, eventually this will break down, but for the first growing season, they will help retain moisture. Also, to add more organic materials into the garden bed, we did have some unfinished compost that I added as well. Throughout the day, I continued to look around the garden to see if I can find more organic materials to add into the garden bed. I wanted to fill the bed with a lot of organic free materials before I start adding soil. And this is a really great way to cut down on buying more new soil. The next step is to finally add soil inside the garden beds, and I'm using whatever soil I had in the grow bags. And by the end of this, I didn't even need to buy new soil. What I had available was more than enough to fill all 8 garden beds. We wanted the soil mixture in these garden beds to be loose and retain moisture, so we added vermiculite. Vermiculite is a naturally occurring mineral that improves water retention and drainage. By adding this, it aerates the soil and also helps us reduce watering these garden beds. After getting these beds set up and ready, it's now time to plant. However, when I finished installing this, it was still cold around this time, so the only plant that I could plant is cool-loving crops. So we started with vegetables that thrive on cold conditions. Plants like lettuce, Swiss chard, cauliflower, and tatsoi. We also decided to add small sprouted garlic here to help deter pests. And finally, to complete this setup, I'm also installing the Vego irrigation kit. Since we already have an existing drip irrigation around our garden, all I'm doing is adding this to it. Compared to our existing drip irrigation system, this one was actually easier to install. All I had to do was install the brackets on the side of the bed, and everything else is just quick connect. One thing that we really like about this irrigation system from Vego Garden is that there's more control. You can use a spray for larger plants or use drip irrigation for smaller plants. And each spray nozzle has a control to reduce the flow or completely turn it off. If you spend a lot of time watering your garden, irrigation system can really save you time, especially if you add on an automatic timer. With this combination, you don't have to worry about watering and focus more on enjoying the garden worry-free. We're really excited to show you more on what we're going to be growing here, so follow along and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and happy gardening!